Do you have any idea what their defense is going to be, given the fact that the judge is basically taking away their defense?
Am I the only person in the world talking about attacking the timeline,
Do you have any idea what their defense is going to be, given the fact that the judge is basically taking away their defense?
Like, am I in crazy?
Challenge the timeline of the murder.
I mean, am I in crazy land?
But that's fucking crazy world.
What's the strategy today? Winning.
Whose motherfucking hair is that?
What's the strategy today? Winning.
The consensus has been challenge the timeline of the murders. Challenge the timeline of the murders.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to R&M Productions. I am Ange, the R, and I guess the M, and all of the things. And it's been a minute since we've been here. I see a lot of our friends. If you're new, welcome. Luke says, I feel like I just went back in time 6 months. Same. So tonight we are going to talk about a case out of Letcher County, Kentucky. Wattsburg, Kentucky. And we have a very special guest joining us this evening. Most well-known, worldwide known, actually, for their contributions during the Karen Read case in helping all of the cranks understand the complex, I use the word understand loosely, understand the complexities of physics and how physics in forensics should and can be understood and interpreted, yada, yada, yada. Probably not a ton of physics going to be discussed tonight in Letcher County, but having said that, hi, Michael, welcome. Please give a crank welcome to number one, baby girl, Raceface.
Hello.
Hello, my dear. How have you been? What is new? Fill me in since you've been back from the Canton whirlwind.
I mean, yeah, I went to Dedham, which was wild, and then Karen Read was freed.
Freed Karen Read.
We did it. Freed Karen Read. And then, like, still a fuck ton of stuff has happened since then, nonetheless, even though it's been like 3.5 weeks since we freed Karen Read.
I feel like every time I look on X or in the Crank Discord, I see a new something, whether it's a trooper or officer getting reassigned or.
Oh yeah, this week was big on the officer rehoming.
Yeah, rehoming. Yes, so much rehoming.
Yeah, this week we got Buchanan and DeChico and Kukowski, and we found out that Shannon Burgess was fired this week. So,
is that so? Shannon Burgess was the the stolen valor of his bachelor's degree, basically, right?
Yeah,
he did a stolen valor. He did a bachelor's degree stolen valor. Okay, so I mean that feels like probably an appropriate consequence for misrepresenting your CV multiple places when you're a key witness in a murder trial.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And what else has happened? Oh, Alan Jackson sent a letter to the BPD police commissioner telling them to put Kelly Dever on the Brady list. That was yesterday. And then today a new Bettero letter dropped, which was spicy.
I saw a notification that said, I don't know if Joanna's here, but Joanna is like our, my like alert for anytime there's like a Karen Read anything. And I saw just a message like new Bettero letter in all caps. So I imagine that it was spicy because it's been kind of an intense week for his client, Mr. Turtle Boy. So,
Dr. Turtleboy.
Mr. Doctor. Hey, Steve, thank you. Y'all, please put a 1 in the chat for Steve, who has been basically absolutely plugging the R&M kingdom, crankdom, and has been plugging R&M all over the place. And for some reason, we've went from like 5,000 something subscribers, which have been like comfortably chilling at for the better part of a year, to like 7,500. And a lot of thanks to Steve for being our #1 hype man. We really appreciate you, Steve. I really appreciate that.
And for all the pictures of Angel.
Yes, and all the pictures of Angel and Devil, the mascots of the R&M channel.
And Alaska sometimes.
Alaska, who's like a visiting, like a guest appearing, right? A guest star, right? Or a regular feature. I can't remember. All right. So, I think you froze, Gray. It's okay. We'll do a reset. So, Judge Jessica's here. We almost sent out the SWAT team because it had been a minute since I had seen Judgy. And I know that Judgy exercises very healthy internet boundaries. And from time to time, will even take a break from engaging online, which is a novel concept. But we're all very happy to see Judgy, who, big news, again, in Crank Kingdom, Eric Clapton. We had another Eric Clapton death scare, everybody, and I'm happy to report that Eric Clapton is alive and well, and we are really working on getting him on the schedule for what is he supposedly doing for the Cranks for Ricky? I forget what Eric Clapton is going to be doing for Rick Allen. Something about a benefit concert or something. I don't exactly remember. Woman says #free Mickey Steins for 2 days, just for 2 days. That's all we're going to say about that. So I'm going to give a really quick overview of the Sheriff Mickey Steins case out of Letcher County, Kentucky. I know most people in here probably are at least relatively familiar with it. But if you're not, because most of us are inundated with Rick Allen and Delphi most of the time, we're going to take a trip over to Appalachia, to Whitesburg, Kentucky. So Stephen King is definitely crying. This is also true. On September 19th, 2024, in Whitesburg, Kentucky, the elected sheriff, Mickey Steins, was in the courthouse chambers having a conversation with the district judge, Kevin Mullins. And after a 13-minute conversation that was all captured on video, CCTV or some kind of video camera that was recording in the
some kind of video.
In the chambers. After a 13-minute discussion, then Sheriff Steins stood up, unholstered his firearm, walked around the desk, and systematically assassinated Judge Kevin Mullins, R.I.P. I believe 7 or 8.
Like 8 times.
Shot him 8 times. And I could not find another instance of a elected sheriff or an elected, I think only sheriffs are elected, but like an elected law enforcement officer killing a judge. Certainly never never on video, but I couldn't find an instance of this happening in America. I know that judges get killed, for various reasons, and sheriffs kill people because they're people, but I couldn't find another instance of anything like this ever happening since the inception of the great United States of America. So it's a pretty crazy case. There's no shortage of theories as to why, Grace Base, why did this happen? Why? What do you think?
Well, we've been talking about this a lot. Our Twitter group chat of me and Ange and Judgy has a lot of speculation about our boy Mickey and his motivations. But for a long time, we've been speculating that it was like a family annihilator by proxy situation, where I got the vibe pretty early on that if he hadn't shot the judge, he probably would have shot his wife and or daughter.
Which is terrifying. Yeah. So for those who don't know, because I mean, I think I first learned of the term family annihilator from the Chris Watts case out in Colorado, like almost a decade ago, I want to say now. So a family annihilator is basically a person who kills, I don't know if it has to be every family member, but like multiple members of their family. It's usually domestic violence. Obviously, it's the ultimate act of domestic violence related. And they sometimes also die by suicide. Not always, but it is a
some of them it's a murder-suicide thing.
Yes, murder-suicide a lot of the times. Other times it's not. So this case, obviously, fortunately, unfortunately for Mr. Mullins, but fortunately nobody else was hurt or killed. But one of the things we speculated about in the chat that we have is, what would provoke a person to do something so irrational and an otherwise, we don't know Mickey personally, but like an otherwise rational person. And we're assuming he's rational because he holds a job and he has a major responsibility as the sheriff of the county. And
he's like well-liked too.
Mm-hmm. He's very well liked in the county. So, hey, Divas. So, yes, very, 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 a very wild case. And one of the things I think that makes this case so consumable to the general public, not only, first and foremost, there's a video of the entire.
No presumption of innocence here. It's on video.
It's on video, yeah. And so the presumption of innocence, I imagine, in this case is going to be not who or what or when, but like why and like what degree of culpability. Like I imagine we're going to be looking at either a diminished capacity or whatever they call it in Kentucky, and or like a heat of passion vigilance.
That's what they call it.
Yes, extreme emotional disturbance, which is like kind of similar to insanity, except they don't use that word, obviously. And it basically, yeah, I think we have a blurb about it in the drive, but I was reading about it. It's a little bit different in Kentucky in that, like, if you're you can be found not guilty because of your extreme emotional disturbance. And I don't know what the threshold is to meet that. And yeah, so I guess if you're found not guilty because you were not in your right mind at the time, then like that's it. You're not guilty because you didn't know right from wrong. However, the fact that there is so much footage from not only the shooting, but the entire day and days, I imagine, leading up to it, and the hours immediately following, body cam footage, CCTV footage. What is Angela looking at? I'm just kind of looking around. Oh, I'm looking at my monitor.
Apparently, it's not a not guilty, but it reduces the felony to a Class D felony if it's assault under extreme emotional disturbance. So
you're found guilty, but like guilty with
it's some lesser charge of assault under extreme emotional disturbance or murder under extreme emotional disturbance.
Interesting.
That's like a much lower felony charge.
Probably it almost sounds like it'd be more like a manslaughter or like there's no like mens rea there. I don't know. I think it'll be interesting. The other possibility that I think is one that we've kind of like mulled over is jury nullification. And hey, all eyes. If someone can and wants to help us by dropping the All Eyes, what did I call it? The Rolodex, the All Eyes Rolodex, the All Eyes hub for all things Indiana versus Richard Allen related. The link for our Chief Librarian All Eyes and the Ricky Allen website. If not, I can drop it in a minute, but I want to make sure we put those in the chat for everybody. Okay. Jury nullification, which is basically when a jury of 12 sits through trial, hears all of the evidence from the state and the defense, and basically disregards the factual guilt, of a defendant makes a kind of decision. I don't know if you want to call it defiant, but basically either they believe that the defendant was justified in what they did, or for some other reason, they kind of collectively decide that they're going to basically give like a free pass, kind of like a not guilty, even if, you know, the person has, you know, the state has met their burden and they know. Yeah. So that's, I think, an interesting thing, which kind of leads me to segue into some of the prevailing rumors, more kind of persnickety, persistent ones, some that are probably based in legitimate factual things that have occurred in the county, in the courthouse, and others that are kind of being, you know, have a more abstract or not clear inception, like where did they come from, we don't know, but like they persist. So one of the things I think that makes this case so interesting is that there's a lot of peripheral, like, not fuckery, corruption, really bad stuff that has occurred in pretty recent, you know, within the last year, I would say. So one of the rumors about the why is that Mickey Steins, the sheriff, we call him Mickey here, Mickey shot the judge in kind of this act of like vigilante justice, because the judge was doing things or involved in things that were, you know, morally abhorrent, morally abhorrent, right? And Mickey felt that there was no other possible way to stop, you know, he had no other choice. Couple issues with that theory. Do you want to expand on that one, Grace Case?
Well, the first part of that is people have said that there's rumors the judge was doing something with Mickey's then 17-year-old, 17-year-old daughter. Mm-hmm. But there's like literally zero evidence of that.
Correct.
And our guy, Jeremy Bartley, the defense attorney, has said that's not true. You know, Mickey's family, the judge's family have all been like, that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
But yet the rumor persists amongst locals. But
yeah, it's basically like, you know, the judge was having some kind of a, you know, relationship, and I don't know the rules in Kentucky surrounding the age of consent. I don't know if it would be, you know, a crime or not for a 17-year-old, but regardless, Mickey's daughter, who was 17, the rumor that has been debunked, and we've not seen any evidence, so we're not pushing that one. We're just discussing it. The rumor is that the judge had some kind of an inappropriate relationship, or had, or was SAing Mickey Steins' daughter. And the reason that people have kind of clung on to that is because when Mickey was arrested, he kind of immediately turned himself in to authorities within the courthouse. It's been said, one person, Clayton Stanford, the lead detective, Clayton something.
Stamper?
Clayton Stamper, that's it, said during the initial hearing that supposedly when Mickey approached officers, he said something like, they're trying to take my wife and daughter. Now, Clayton didn't hear it firsthand. We don't know who did. We haven't seen that video. I'm sure they have. I'm sure like Court TV or whoever has been doing the FOIAs, I'm sure they have it. I'm sure that they will release it. They're kind of trickling out video, which is, I would, you know, hey, yeah, you got to get the bag. But I would love to have all of it because I'm really interested. But
just message Vinnie Politan and be like, bro.
Let's all just start tagging him on Twitter and just like complimenting him and
hey,
maybe
Vinny, can we get that footage?
Yeah, and can we get it without like there's like 8 different like I understand they want to watermark it, but like it's a little tacky. I mean, let's be real. It's information you got through FOIA. They got like the VIP logo, and then you got the Court TV logo, and then they do their own graphics, and it's like just maybe, you know, less is more. But anyway, we'll take what we can get. We don't know if or what or why Mickey said that about his wife and daughter, but that has led people to kind of fill in that information vacuum and make assumptions. And I think Mickey's family denied it via their somebody set up a GoFundMe for Mickey's wife and daughter, and I think he has a stepson too. I don't know how old the stepson is, but he's at least in high school. He looked like he was at least in high school, if not older. So somebody set up a GoFundMe for the family, which, by the way, I got no problem with GoFundMes. I don't know how you feel about them. I got no issue with it. If people want to give their money to someone who's in a tough spot, like, none of my business. They did say on the GoFundMe, which I thought was interesting and kind of appropriate, was they added like a note at the bottom that said, basically, there's no truth to the rumors about something going on with the daughter, because they didn't want people donating like under, false pretenses, which, I mean, that was a pretty clear denial in my opinion. And Jeremy Bartley, the defense attorney, who we're going to watch a video in a little bit of him, he has also denied that, or he said there's no evidence to support that. So that rumor, which is really the one that most people point to when they discuss like Mickey being almost like, I would say the people that support Mickey very boldly fall into two camps. That's one of them. People who believe that he was protecting his daughter. They're like, well, what would you do if it was your daughter? I'd do the same thing. Fine. The other kind of similar rumor about the judge is that the judge was somehow involved in or perpetrating or otherwise entangled in this peripheral case that involved former bailiff Ben Fields, who was the bailiff for Kevin Mullins. Ben Fields. DB said something the other day, like, how many syllables do we think these people can fit into Ben and Bates? Like, it's like seven syllables in Ben. But so who's Ben Fields?
Well, Ben Fields is a guy. He originally worked in the jail underneath the courthouse, I believe, as a, whatever they call them. And
Jailer?
then jailer.
They just call him a jailer, I guess.
Yeah. And then at some point, I think what happened was in 2019, Mickey was elected sheriff, and he was going to start being sheriff at the start of 2020. So, and he had been a bailiff, a court deputy. And so he pulled up Ben Fields to take his position as a bailiff. And also at the same time, Mickey Steins had been in charge of the home detention system for Letcher County, and could no longer do that as sheriff. And so he also tapped Ben Fields to become his replacement as the person working for East Kentucky Correctional Services, which is a private company that does the ankle monitors for the home detention.
And if I remember correctly, that private company is the only one that Letcher County courts contract with. So if you are in some kind of a, deferment, like drug court or some kind of like a program for, first time offenders or, drug offenses or whatever the case, if you are given the option and you're allowed to do home detention versus, jail or whatever, you get an ankle monitor. Fun.
Yeah, and they only have one employee.
One.
In Letcher County, or I guess they have what's her name?
Patty. Yep, we did a Patty deposition read through. If y'all here with us, 139 folks are here. That's a lot of people. Hi, everybody. Welcome. If you are interested in the Patty deposition or any other depositions that have been taken in and related to this case, we have a playlist, a Letcher County playlist. I have to rename it though. I'm gonna rename it. Come on, man, or what? Come on now. I'm gonna rename it.
Come on now.
But we did read through Patty's, right?
I don't know if we read Patty's. Patty's stock. We did Ben's and we did Mickey's, and we
Yep.
did
Jason.
did we read Jason's on here? I guess we did.
Maybe not. I
I don't-
thought maybe we did. We might have.
Jason's is the funniest, so I feel like we ought to have read it, but
Is. He's the what does Judgy call him? The meme god.
the meme god.
Jason. Something interesting. I know we're getting off on.
We did Sabrina
you're-
Atkins' interview with the.
We
with
did
the
the AG.
Yes.
We did. Yep, we did Sabrina Atkins too. Okay, so I think what I'm probably gonna show here. Well, I guess I don't need to show it. Oh no, I do want to show this. Hold on. So Ben Fields, he basically was like protege of Mickey Stein. So Mickey Stein's, before he was elected sheriff, he worked for the sheriff's department as a deputy, and he also worked for this private company called East Kentucky. What is it?
Correctional Services.
Correctional EKCS, which was the home detention monitoring device company. So with that, as the lone employee for the entire county, he was solely responsible for supervising and monitoring the individuals who were on home detention. He was also the sole person responsible for collecting weekly payment, because you basically rent your ankle monitor. You have to pay a weekly fee to be part of that program. And it's quite expensive, especially if you are in and out of the system and struggling with addiction or, whatever. Maybe you're employed, maybe you're not, but you're on home detention, so you probably can't work. So it's a really prohibitive, the cost can be quite prohibitive. And unfortunately, it creates an environment where it's just like a fertile ground for victimization of vulnerable people. So what ended up happening was multiple women, we know of two by name, Jennifer Hill and Sabrina Atkins. And then I believe there's a third.
Brianna Clement, maybe?
She has been named, right? Yeah, I believe she has. And Brianna. Yes, because her mom, okay. I'm remembering. So at least 3 women that we know of were victimized by Ben Fields when he was the court bailiff and when he took over that home monitoring position when Mickey was elected. So Ben Fields was in charge of monitoring all the home detention people, and he had full undeterred access to the courthouse and the judge's chambers, etc. So what Ben Fields was doing, I don't know, well, we'll get into what occurred before Ben, but what Ben Fields was charged with after an investigation and pled guilty to is Sabrina Atkins and Jennifer Hill, who is deceased. I believe she passed away in 2022 or 2023.
2023, I think.
2023. These women, they were
It
both.
was before Ben pled, but it was after the civil suit was filed.
You're right. I believe it was early 2023. I think you're right. Yep. So Sabrina Atkins is the victim survivor that we hear from most, because she is still actively, a plaintiff in a civil suit associated with this. But Ben Fields was preying on women who were on home detention who could not afford to pay their weekly fee for their ankle monitor. And what happens if you can't pay, Grace Face? What happens if you're not compliant with your payment schedule?
Well, you go back to jail.
You go back to jail, which is not a great place to be in general. And it sounds like, from what we've gathered, especially in Letcher County, it's not a great place to be as a woman.
Angie Fields, yikes.
Who's Angie Fields?
Angie Fields is Ben Fields' wife.
Oh, he's got a wife?
He got a wife, Angie Fields, indeed. And she works in the jail. Worked?
Mm-hmm.
Works? No, I think worked, because I think now she works in the courthouse.
She does, yes, because she's on video,
She's,
which I
think
didn't
she
actually
became a
realize.
bailiff after Ben left.
Is that true?
I don't know. Maybe because she works in the courthouse.
She sure does, and I didn't realize this until I watched Elizabeth the other night. But Angie Fields is one of the individuals that is sitting in the jury room at the table.
Is that the jury room?
I think so. They call it the smoking room, but I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
I was like, I thought that was like a weird little break room for them.
Yeah, it could be. I think I've heard it called a couple things. I think Elizabeth calls it the smoking room, so we'll call it the smoking room. But it's like the employee room. And Angie Fields, it's interesting that Angie Fields holds that position. There's a lot of overlap and there's a lot of conflicts of interest, it would seem, in this case. So I just want to pull up. So this is Ben Fields, taken from, yeah, and I don't think anyone in here would, but don't go harassing people, y'all. But this is Ben Fields and Mickey Steins. I don't know who the other people are, but this was in 2019. So Mickey had been sheriff for 6 days, I guess. If he, because he was elected in 2018, right?
Oh, yeah, I guess. I thought he was elected in 2019 and started in 2020. But maybe
you might be right. Well, either way, they both, at the very least, they both work for the sheriff's department. But that's Ben Fields next to Mickey, standing there with his hands over his. So Ben Fields was taking advantage of the women on home detention who could not afford to pay their ankle monitor fee by coercing them and bringing them into the judge's chambers and various locations after hours and after the courthouse was closed, and essaying them, forcing them basically through coercion and the power differential and them feeling like they had no other choice, and essaying the women in exchange for them not having to pay their ankle monitor fee. Not great. So I don't know. I believe the series of events that kind of exposed that, and we can call that a sextortion scandal, I guess. I feel comfortable with the word sextortion because he was using sex and extorting them. That came to light because Sabrina Fields and Jennifer Hill jointly, through their attorney, Ned Pillersdorf, who
our favorite guy,
adore, amazing, love him. If y'all are not familiar with Ned Pillersdorf, go do some independent research on Ned. He's amazing. And
also,
he's awesome.
Side note, V brings up a good point, which is that Ben and Angie Fields had sex in a courthouse bathroom.
They did. They did 9/11 in the courthouse bathroom.
9/11 in the courthouse bathroom.
Do you remember why we even have that piece of information and why we know that?
It was in Ben. Was it not in Ben? It was in Ben Fields' depot, wasn't it?
Yes. And he disclosed that information during his interview for his position with the sheriff's department. That was a piece of information. Yeah, or for his position for something when he was being interviewed, he had to they ask you questions and he says, "Who among us hasn't been in the communal bathroom?" It wasn't even the judge's private. It was the bathroom in the hall. Yeah. So that's something. That's really something. Ben Fields, his crimes came to light after Sabrina and Jennifer Hill filed a civil lawsuit in federal court in the whatever district of Kentucky against Ben Fields, his supervisors, not named, the sheriff's department, and Mickey Steins named. And the reason that Mickey Steins is included in that is because he is the sheriff and it's his responsibility. He has a professional, but also a legal duty as the sheriff to supervise and oversee his deputies and those who work for him. And when something occurs, when someone under him or, a sheriff engages in misconduct in uniform, in their official capacity, or uses their position with the sheriff's department to commit a crime or, inflict, whatever, the sheriff can be on the hook for that, right?
Yeah, he was charged, or he is being sued for failure to supervise.
Yes. So I think that the terminology is he knew or should have known, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of people are saying he had no idea, that's why he was so stressed because all of this was coming out and he was going to go down for it. Whether that's true or not, I don't believe that. I believe and Sabrina even said in one of her depositions that there's been talk for a long time of this kind of being like he kind of passed the baton to Ben. He trained Ben in both positions, and whether Mickey was involved in that kind of stuff or not, whether he knew or not, he should have known. Like, I feel like that's at least a fair conclusion.
And like people are talking, they're like, oh well, they're stressed because like Ben's depot had been like a week before and his depot was a few days before, but Ben was charged and went to jail like a year before that.
Yeah. Yep. His
So, like,
criminal case had been
no.
adjudicated. Yeah, it was over. I mean, that part of it. Now, whether or not a criminal investigation by the AG's office or another entity, whether there was still one occurring, we don't know. There has been kind of unrelated but peripheral investigations. I know at one point the FBI was soliciting community feedback within Whitesburg and surrounding areas for people who had interacted with or been patients or received services from the ARC, basically a Medicaid fraud scheme. So like that was not totally unrelated. We know that the courts, so the sheriff and the judge and the court system, has a pretty close reciprocal relationship with ARC, which is a recovery. I think it's a private. I was going to say nonprofit, but it's not. It's private, which is kind of where the rub is. But yeah, so like all of these, like it's like a web, and there's all of these, let's say, tentacles. So it's hard to know.
Like the home detention, it's all of it's kind of like drugs related at base.
Yeah,
because it's the
drugs,
recovery system,
addiction.
the home detention system. It's
Mhm.
like the sentencing process and all this other stuff.
Yep, 100%. So there's like a ton of tentacles all over the place. Are we forgetting any of the theories or any of the rumors as to the why? So Mickey was
There's
afraid.
like weird rumors about the preacher,
Oh, the preacher man, Michael
Clark.
Clark. What's up with the preacher man?
Well, he was there that day. He always seemed to be around, and he was closely involved in this whole thing, this whole initiative of like the judges to try and get more people sent to recovery instead of, jail.
Mhm.
And on that day, I guess he and Mickey would go around delivering lunches. And it was like there was some weirdness on that day because they were only given like 2 lunches to deliver, which was like less than usual.
Mhm.
And there were rumors about like the preacher saying weird stuff to Mickey and like maybe threatening him.
Mhm.
I don't know. And then they came back to the courthouse together at like 2:00.
Mhm. In the truck, yeah, in Mickey's truck, they drove there and back together. Yep.
Yeah, and then like Clark goes to the judge's chambers.
Sorry. Yeah.
And then he's in the judge's chambers when Mickey comes in and is like, everybody out.
Mhm. And they listen.
Yeah, they listen. I don't
They
know.
just file out, which is crazy to me. I feel like, I wasn't sure what to make of this case initially. I have a bias where I generally believe that cops can't really be trusted a lot of the time. However, I also have some judge bias and trauma now. So like I was basically like, I don't know which entity, not that you should, I mean, at the end of the day, Kevin Moulds is a victim, whether he was a piece of shit in life or not. He was assassinated. That's not cool. But I wasn't sure what to make of this case. And there were so many rumors online and even like on in the actual like media and court TV and the news and News Nation, they're like, they say allegedly or, witnesses say, but they were reporting on these rumors that I hadn't seen any evidence for it. And so, we've kind of just been doing a sleuth and doing an investigate. And I'm going to pause for a second because we're going to get some really,
Hello
really
there, everybody.
highbrow legal analysis. Hello, Mr. Ritter. How's it going?
Hi. I'd like to comment on the matter of the Commonwealth versus Mickey Steins. As we know, Letcher County has alleged that Mickey Steins did murder the judge. And what we need to ask ourselves here is, does the state, does the Commonwealth have the evidence showing that he actually fired the weapon at Judge Mullen? Well, by all intents and purposes, it is on video, but we have to ask ourselves, did he actually do it? And at the end of the day, it's really the jurors who matter. It's the jurors who make the ultimate decisions. And in that sense, we are waiting to see if they're going to get 2 bites at the apple or if you can indict a ham sandwich. Ultimately, we don't know whether the defense is going to say he was bitten by an apple or a ham sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. That was really specific and really informative and really elevated the discussion.
The wheels of justice need to keep turning in a customary and dignified way to make sure that Kevin Mullen's victims, Mickey Stein's victims, if there are any, are given justice.
For sure.
So true,
I feel like
Misty.
you've got more. I feel like you've got more in the tank. So, there's no way that was it. There's no
Well,
way.
when it comes to the legal defense of insanity, the prosecutors have to prove that he actually wasn't insane at the time of the crime. But looking at the video, it does appear that his left foot did move forward slightly as he drew his weapon. And that means that he was actually a little bit off kilter, which means he has Meniere's disease caused by Lyme disease, which he was given through California encephalitis.
What does California encephalitis have to do with Mickey Stein's?
Well, back in my day, it used to be my favorite cocktail at my favorite bar. But I guess now it's a legal defense.
Yeah. So California encephalitis is a possible, I guess it could be a defense, or it would at least be an explanation or a factor in support of an extreme emotional disturbance defense, because supposedly Mickey Steins acquired a disease called California encephalitis, which is basically, I believe we would call it like a Lyme disease of sorts, which can, of course, be quite serious. And it is tick-borne, if I'm not mistaken, a tick-borne illness that generally and almost overwhelmingly occurs in young children, but can occur in adults, clearly. So Mickey Steins did indeed suffer from California encephalitis, and I believe in at least one legal filing associated with his criminal case, his attorney, Mr. Bartley, has cited his illness. I don't know if it was mentioned in the deposition. I think it might have been, because
it was mentioned in Mickey's depot for sure, because we were all like losing our minds when we were reading it.
You're right. That's where I acquired my whole folder, because Miku got straight to work and they were sending peer reviewed.
And then it came up on a test in their one of their classes like next week.
It really did. I totally forgot about that.
But also, like one of the last set of filings on the civil docket, I noticed like one of the entries was like California encephalitis symptoms or something, and I was like,
all right. So they're like really going with they're gonna go with that.
It appears he talked about it at a deposition. For those of you who don't know, a deposition is a sworn statement given orally and is recorded by a party or a witness at the trial, to be taken place at the trial and to be given as evidence and affirmation of a statement.
Is that the same? So is a civil deposition? Well, I don't know if Kentucky
If I
does.
was his lawyer, I would depose the tick because it is another victim of Mickey Stein's. The tick actually has diabetes now from having a small portion of Mickey's blood inside of it.
It's a lot. There's a lot going on in that. In the blood of Mickey. I imagine. It can't be easy for a tick. It can't be easy to be a tick attached to Mickey Stein.
Yeah. Oh, the internet says California encephalitis is actually in the same family of viruses as West Nile.
Oh. Serious business.
Yeah.
Wow.
In the matter styled as Commonwealth, the instant case at bar.
Okay.
Ham sandwich.
Oh no, he's glitching. And I can't hear you.
I did a mute unto myself. So real quick, I want to just pull up. We're not going to do a legal. We're not going to do a legal. We're not going to do a legal. We're just going to do a verbal. We're going to do just a verbal. Just a verbal here. But if y'all are not familiar with the case, or have not actually gone through and read the civil complaint that was filed in February of 2022, January 31st, 2022, against Ben Fields, individual and official capacity.
And everything
as
really
deputy
went
sheriff.
down on January 31st, 2022. That was the day that like everyone found out and like went to the Commonwealth attorney, went to Mickey's office, and then he was like, you have to fire Ben.
Oh, you're right. Because so this was filed and like immediately.
Yeah,
Mickey's
everything
going
happened
to-
so fast.
Yeah.
And
And I
I think
think
really, really
Mickey's-
scary.
Oh my gosh, that's my buddy. Deep Drop, not to be confused with Drip Drop. How's it going?
It's sus to us.
Your impressions are getting really good. I don't know what you've been doing to kind of workshop them, but whatever it is, it's working. They're excellent. Really good.
I'm a real deal investigator.
Oh, yeah. So Ben Fields pleads guilty to the crimes he was charged with. And I don't know when all of that was. 2023, end of 2023,
No.
I want to say.
I was pulling all that up from the Google Drive because I was trying
you're
to
amazing.
remember. So he pled. Where'd it go? I also wanted the indictment. He was originally indicted on is that right? September 29th, 2022.
That sounds right. A full 9 months almost after the civil suit is filed.
Yeah. Of 2 counts of rape, which is a third-degree felony, 2 counts of sodomy, 3 counts of tampering with a prisoner monitoring device, and 1 count of perjury. Eventually,
That's like really, really bad.
1 count of rape, 1 count of sodomy, and 1 count of tampering are all dropped because Jennifer Hill dies. And so you can't bring those charges anymore with the victim being dead. And then
I don't love that, by the way. I don't love that. We can talk about that later. But like, I don't really love that feature of our legal system.
Yeah, I don't love it. Don't love it. And then 2023, about a year later, he pleads guilty to 1 count of rape, 1 count of sodomy, 2 counts of tampering with a prisoner monitoring device and 1 count of perjury, and gets 6 months in the Letcher County jail where his wife works.
Mm-hmm.
And where
6
he used to
months.
work.
6 months at his place of employment where he was treated with
He got
the
to be a
utmost
trustee.
privilege. Yeah, he was a trustee of the jail, which
They
is
left,
what?
they left his cell door unlocked.
They what?
They left his door unlocked.
Oh yeah, yeah. He could come and go as he pleased. Oh no, Mr. Bartley is here, probably to do another vague suggestion and victims, perhaps a smear or two, an implied smear. I'm here for it. He's just gonna, I guess, hang.
Mr. DeBartley.
Go ahead, Mr. Bartley. Speak your piece. Okay. Sorry, Graceface. You were giving us dates that are very important, and I interrupted you as usual. 2023, September, I think. No, 2022, September, he was indicted. He pled guilty to the charges that you listed and was sentenced to 6 months in the Letcher County Jail, where he worked and was treated. Oh, you're frozen. I thought you were just like so immersed in what I was saying that you were like not even moving, but you were frozen. Sorry.
I was. My Wi-Fi did a little blip, but it's back.
It did a verbal.
Yeah.
He looks like Timu Nate Bartolozzi. Yeah, 6 months inside a really comfortable jail cell where he got to see his wife, Angie, whenever he wanted to. They left his door unlocked. He got to leave to go to the, out into the Sally Port and fetch the pizza deliveries. Yeah, he got to hang out at the Sally Port and basically he was treated. He got to eat pizza. Yeah, he was a trustee. And what makes somebody a trustee or not? They like the jailers like you is essentially what
jailers are like, we trust you.
Yeah, we trust you because you just pled guilty to abusing people, but we're gonna give you full access.
Well, we don't know that if Mickey was involved in that part of the crime, and he very well might have been actually in fear for his own life.
What was he afraid of? We still don't know.
Well, that's going to have to come out at trial.
Oh. Okay.
I would like to know what he was afraid of.
Well, we would all like to know, but I don't even know.
But I'm going to say a bunch of stuff anyway. Every chance I get.
Very well could have something that shows his life was in danger.
In danger. Interesting. So another argument that we didn't say is that Mickey feared for his life. He feared for his life and his wife and
his wife
lives.
and daughter's life.
Well, that could very well be the point, that Mickey did fear for his life. And when he unholstered his weapon and shot the judge, maybe he was in fear.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. That judge looked really threatening.
Yeah, with his eating peanut, like double fisting roasted peanuts, like my dad, just sitting there talking, just shoving peanuts in his mouth and chain smoking. Hands Mickey his phone, and then there's actually a video that I'm going to show in a second.
Hands Mickey's phone, tells him his phone password.
There you go. That's what I was going to say. He literally, Mickey asks him for his phone passcode and he gives it to him and he unlocks the judge's phone.
That was Mickey calling off the head.
Oh, okay. He's like, I got this one, you guys. I got it covered. God. It's insane. This case is insane.
Yeah, criminally insane.
Mickey acted quick. Oh my God, he sure did. He sure did. So, fear for his life. Mickey was in fear for his life.
I hear you. You have a good person.
Yeah, I know. But I don't think I'm going to do it right now. Maybe later. Maybe I'll do it during a speak your piece, because we are going to speak our piece in a little bit here. What was I going to show us? I was going to show us this new video just because I want us to look at Mickey Stein's unlocking the phone. Oh, I don't know who this chickie is. Vinny's been doing a pretty good. They've been covering this case quite like regularly, I've found on Court TV, especially lately. So that's been fun because every time they do, they'll give us like a couple more seconds or minutes of footage, which is fun. I wish they would give us more, but you know, such is life. Share screen.
Yeah, and of course, Court TV can FOIA the footage, but we can't.
Yeah, which by the way, if anybody in here is from Kentucky, so Kentucky apparently has a law that they only have to fill FOIA requests from Kentucky residents, which, okay, I guess I understand, but isn't FOIA a federal?
I mean, I think there are the state versions of FOIA, because some of them are called FOIL. So.
But yeah, freedom of information
Law.
Yeah.
But there's also like the federal version of FOIA.
Right. I can't breathe during Speak Your Piece. I'm super federal. Goddamn. Okay. All right. So anyway, we're gonna watch this short clip.
Anybody have a Kentucky? Can we get Elizabeth to do it?
I bet I could ask her for sure. But Elizabeth told me during one of her lives, I was talking about how I was salty because I got all of my FOIAs got denied. I FOIA'd the Kentucky State Police. I FOIA'd the administrative office of the courts. I FOIA'd the Letcher County Courthouse, and I FOIA'd, that might have been it actually. Oh, and I FOIA'd the AG's office. I FOIA'd, I think that was 4, and one of them referred me to KSP, the state police. The other, I think, referred me to the AG's office, and both the AG's office and the state police denied my FOIAs. So I'm not a resident of Kentucky. Which is weird, which is fine. But Gavin Fish, who I think in the description of this video, or if not this live, if not the description of the last video I put out, there's a link I put in there for Gavin Fish. He does an interview with Ned Pillersdorf from, I think, sometime either last year or the beginning of this year. And it's excellent. It's so good if y'all want more info on the case. But Gavin Fish isn't from Kentucky. He gets his FOIAs lickety-split all the time. The fuck?
Maybe he has a fake Kentucky address.
Maybe. That's true. To whomst it may concern. Okay, so let's watch this part here. I want to just look at what Mickey does on the phone. By the way, okay, we've devolved. I was going to try and keep it neutral, but it's Mickey Stein, so you know we've devolved.
We were going to try and keep it neutral.
I don't know. Who knows? Definitely not. But it's so great. Why when Mickey types in his daughter's phone number, like everything he does is just like bug brained. Everything he does is so bug brained. He's like going to type in his daughter's number. I'm just gonna play it. Like everything this man does annoys me.
Let's roll the video so we can take a look at this moment because it's significant. This is after the FaceTime. Now,
I probably should have played this first. So Mickey makes 2 calls during the 13-minute period that he's in Judge Mullen's office chambers with him. The first call he makes is a FaceTime call or a video call to his aunt. And his aunt is the individual that he was staying with the night before the shooting, because Mickey Steins was kicked out of his house by his wife and or his daughter, I imagine, and was experiencing some domestic issue at the time. So he was not sleeping at home, at least at the night leading up to this. He was staying at his aunt's house. That's relevant because he FaceTimes his aunt for whatever reason. They have a very short conversation. And then after he FaceTimes his aunt, he tries to call his daughter and she does not answer. So then he asks for the judge's phone. The judge gives him his phone. He asks for the judge's passcode. The judge gives him his passcode. He unlocks the judge's phone and calls his daughter again from the judge's phone. And I don't know if I've heard both that she does and that she doesn't answer. It would make sense to me if she answered the phone the second time when he called. I mean, I could see that being a possibility and something that would, you know, if he's already, you know, looking for a reason to do this, I mean, that would be a triggering event, right? She didn't answer when her dad calls, but she answers when. So anyway, we're just going to watch him dial the numbers like a bug brain.
He's got his phone first and tries to call his daughter. Then he gets the phone from the judge, and the judge just hands him his phone, and then he opens it up. He's got to get, I guess, the code to open it up. He apparently does that, or is attempting to do that. And now has to call his daughter, and I guess he's got her number.
Watch how he does this.
In his phone. So like all of us.
Why do it that way? That's so why? Okay. What is wrong with me that almost as egregious as what we're about to, as what happens a few minutes later? Like, what is he?
And I guess he's got her number.
What?
And now has to call his daughter, and I guess he's got her number.
Stacks them.
In his phone. So like all of us, we don't have anyone's phone number memorized anymore.
Okay. I would probably have my 17-year-old daughter's phone number memorized, unless she got a new number for some reason. I don't know. I would probably have my 17. I mean, Vinny's being very gracious to Mr. Steins here. You know, none of us have our family members' phone numbers memorized. Well, I probably would.
I have my parents' phone numbers memorized, but I've had them memorized since like before I had a phone.
Same. But I mean, I could memorize a number. Give me a month. Give me just 1 month. I could memorize a number in a month. But I mean, anyway,
I still have a lot of numbers memorized that I never will use again. Like,
hi, Caleb McCool. What a cool name and cool picture. Hi, Caleb McCool. Hi, everyone. I'm new. Hope you're well. Welcome. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us tonight. This is such a weird way to hold the phones. To be fair, my oldest son just got a new phone and new number 2 months ago, and I don't have it memorized. See, I could understand, like, so maybe she got a new number recently or changed her number or something. But anyway, Bug Brain Mickey decides
and now has to call his daughter, and I guess he's got her number in his phone. So like all of us, we don't have anyone's phone number memorized anymore because we just press one button. So he's copying the number and now calling his daughter. As we continue to watch this, Elizabeth, we don't believe that he made contact, do we? Because he does hold the phone up to his ear. Do we know if he made contact?
I don't know if he made contact with his daughter or not. The only one that I know that he talked to was his aunt. But, you know, watching this video, it looks like he's talking to somebody unless he's talking to the judge.
Right.
Here's my issue with Court TV releasing this footage in the way that they release it. Do we really need all of this do we need VPI, sheriff shoots judge murder case? Why is the sheriff calling his? And then we've got a scrolling banner at the bottom and Court TV logo in the right with the live. Do we need all of that? I can't even see the bot. Like, why are we doing that, y'all? Don't point at the video, sorry.
So in light of everything that we're learning here, the concern about the kidnapping, and then this is just moments.
Okay, the kidnapping. What is he referring to? What do we think he means by the kidnapping? Vinny?
Concerns about the kidnapping?
I think that Clayton, what is his name again, Gray?
Clayton
I can't remember. Stamper. Yeah, give me 6 months.
I remember it because it's stupid.
Yeah, he said during the hearing that Mickey said they're trying to kidnap my wife and daughter, but what they've said since then, and it's pretty much all they've said since then, is they're trying to take my wife and daughter. So, so people have also kind of taken that and ran with it and said, oh, Mickey thought that they were going to kidnap his wife and daughter. I interpret that comment made by Mickey, allegedly made by Mickey, because we still haven't had anyone, you know, who heard it firsthand say anything about it. They're trying to take my wife and daughter, to me, just kind of further supports our running theory that this was a domestic related homicide. So I don't know. We'll see. Oh yeah, love the face. Look at all three of the people on Court TV here look like perturbed by something.
Before the shooting, Dr. Carol Lieberman.
Oh God,
Why
I can't
did-
with Carol. I'm sorry, we're not listening to Carol. I can't with Carol. I fucking can't. Jesus, does anyone here remember Carol from the Delphi? Didn't Carol say that she was pushing the buried cat rumor like a week or two into trial? Like that rumor had been dead and done for like 2 years, and she goes on court TV and she's literally pushing the cat rumor. Does anyone remember that? I was like, I can't listen to her, but I want to watch, so I guess I can mute it and play it. Here we go. So he's calling his daughter again, or I mean, we're watching that again. Do you think she answers? What do you think?
I mean, the amount of time he holds it to his ear could definitely just be it ringing.
That
and
right
maybe
there is
him
the-
leaving a voicemail.
Yeah. That kind of looks like he's
I
talking
don't-
to her.
Does it look like he's talking?
She hangs up on him. He doesn't hang up on her. So one thing I think I just saw. So watch. So he doesn't hit the end button, but the call seems to end because he just throws the phone back. So watch. So how does that phone call look? She hung up on him. I think she hung up on him.
Yeah, it's
And he
possible.
makes like a little I'm gonna do behavioral analysis here. I'm gonna do it body language. He makes a little watch. I think she hangs up on him. So geez.
Yeah.
If that's true, that sucks. Because
But also, there's you can, in the video later, you can see after the judge is dead that his phone starts ringing on his table. So I had
Does it?
wondered if there was a missed call and then she started calling back.
interesting, like she's calling him back or someone's
I
calling
don't know,
him
but
back.
I don't know who's calling him, but the judge's phone does light up on the table after he's dead.
Oh, the judge's phone lights up. Interesting. This is also a great point. I'm curious to know about what his wife and daughter say about them being kidnapped, especially if they didn't want to talk to him. Yeah, great point. So one of the things I've seen people say, I've gotten a lot of comments from people saying, well, I don't think it's true that there was any kind of domestic issue because his wife and daughter are at every hearing and they're sitting behind him and they support him. To that, I will just say, I don't think it's uncommon for family members, defendants who have been charged with serious crimes. I don't think it's uncommon for family members to attend their hearings and court appearances, even if they don't support or agree with the charges or the crime that they've allegedly committed. I probably wouldn't read too much into them being there. I feel like that would be, especially if he was obviously not in his normal state of mind leading up to it, from what we've heard, whether it was self-interested paranoia, right? Or whatever the case. Oh God. I hate this. That's a great shot, Vinny. Thank you. Jesus Christ. Sorry, y'all. Oh wait, I think I want to hear what she says.
Listen to this, I hear something else. He's referencing where his daughter was, but he also said, I spoke to her.
Yeah.
Do we know?
There were some rumors right after the shooting that he had went up to the high school to see her. And we didn't know if he had actually gotten to see her or not. But we hear it out of his own mouth. He obviously did talk to her.
And Dr. Carol Lieberman, when we get to a trial here, what it may ultimately.
I can't with Carol. But okay, so he went to his daughter's school earlier in the day, and he says he talked to her. Other people say she didn't want to see him, so I don't know.
Did he say he talked to her? I thought he said she didn't want to talk to him.
Well, so we heard that, but we had other sources saying that she didn't want to talk to him. But he tells Detective Trotter, whose body cam POV is the one that we're watching when all of that footage comes out right after the shooting, he tells Detective Trotter, or Trooper Trotter, she's at LCC. I saw her, or I talked to her. So I mean, yeah, talk to her could be like, hey, and she could be like, go away. But like either way, I feel like that means he put eyes on her hours leading up to this. So obviously he knew she was okay, you know?
Yeah, like she definitely. I'm starting to wonder now.
Tell
Did
me.
he have this plan beforehand to kill the judge, and he's trying to find or call his daughter to say goodbye because he knows he's going to do something that's going to get him thrown in prison for the rest of his life?
Could be. Maybe. I think he was that's such a gracious take. I'm so much more cynical about Mickey Steins than that. I mean, that's definitely a possibility.
I mean, I don't know if it's gracious because it would mean that it was much more premeditated.
True. Well, and remember we heard too, actually, I think Elizabeth brought this up, if not in this episode or whatever, this Court TV, then the one before it, when they released those brief witness interviews, she said that she had heard that Mickey at lunch with one of the court security officers, like Mickey asked to see the court security officer's gun, service weapon, firearm, whatever. And he was like, oh, your gun's dirty. And then he took his gun out and he was like, oh, mine's clean or whatever. Like he had both guns in the hands. And then Mickey went to hand the court security officer back his gun, but Mickey handed him his gun. Like he did like a whole Houdini switcheroo with the guns. And the court security officer was like, that's not my gun. You have my gun. And Mickey was like, oh, my bad. So it was like, okay, so he's trying to pawn off the gun on this, allegedly pawn off the gun. And then there's been talk from two people now that the gun that Mickey had that he didn't have all day, but at some point during the day got and was wearing around, had like something about it was like filed off serial numbers, which I don't know if you can even tell if a gun has.
Yeah.
Well, that was, there's something. Yeah.
Michael Clark's little interview snippet.
Yes.
He was, or no, it wasn't Michael Clark's. It was one of the people who was out at lunch with him and Michael Clark was saying that, Mickey was like, doing his thing and whatever. And Michael Clark was like, that's a big gun you got there. And then was like, is the serial number of your gun filed off, dude?
Yeah. And then he asked if it was hot. Is your gun hot? Is it hot? And I think, and
he was like, and Mickey said, I don't know.
Yeah. He's like, oh no, I don't know, man. Could be like, is your gun hot? Doesn't that mean it was recently fired or is it stolen? I don't know what it means. If anyone knows what that means.
It means that it's loaded because cold gun
okay.
on like a movie set means that the gun is not dangerous.
Yeah. So I am starting to feel like Mickey was planning on killing somebody that day. I'm feeling more and more like that. I don't know if when or how he decided Mullins, because we've also heard that he went to Dalton's office, which is another county attorney, I think, right? I think his name is Dalton. He tried to go to his office earlier in the day and he wasn't in his office. So then he went, to the judge. So like,
right. Cause they'd been looking for him earlier and apparently got annoyed. Apparently
right.
It doesn't mean it's stolen. I stand corrected.
Both concerning. I don't know which one is worse. I mean, they're both pretty concerning.
Or stolen or used in the commission of a crime.
Interesting. Hi, see you later. I look back at your timeline compilation. It appears to be the same sidearm before and after lunch. Hot definitely means stolen. Daniel Dotson. Thank you, John. I got it. I got one. Did I say Dotson or Dobson? I don't know what I said. Daniel Dotson is the attorney that Mickey tried to speak to earlier in the case or in the day. And I don't think he was in his office or something. So he then went to Mullins' office, which is interesting. I don't know what to think of it. But I think it's also, this is neither here nor there, but it's kind of a court TV is like.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Greg. Go ahead.
There's something about like an EPO he was annoyed about, but
yeah.
I don't know if it was from his wife or if it was something tangentially related
or Mickey could. So I feel like if we're going to like suspend all other theories for a second and just for sake of discussion, say that this had to do with the domestic situation with his wife and daughter and him, like that. It was domestic. I could see like one of two scenarios, and they both equal Mickey shoots the judge, obviously. But like on one scenario is the EPO that they discuss, which is an emergency protective order, for those that aren't familiar. So like a restraining order. So the EPO either did have to do with his wife and daughter, and that would have set him off, or it didn't have to do with his wife and daughter, but he's still paranoid and thinks that there's that somehow the courts, because I think Judge Mullins is like the courts, are going to facilitate or assist in removing him from his wife and daughter. You know what I'm saying? So like, whether it was in his own mind, paranoia, because when he's talking to Kevin Mullins in the chambers, Kevin doesn't look defensive. He doesn't look like really like, he just
doesn't look like he's about to get shot.
And he doesn't look like he's like keeping like, obviously can't tell. I'm not going to do body language, but like he looks more like kind of like at first kind of like, especially earlier in the day, like maybe a little amused, kind of like, I wouldn't say even concerned, just like bewildered. And then throughout, as the conversation goes on longer, he's kind of like, there's a point where he's just staring at Mickey. He's kind of like, and he gives him his phone and his passcode. So that kind of leads me to believe that Mickey had some paranoia that was directed at the judge. And I believe that it probably had to do with, I don't know. It had to do with his wife and daughter, because that's all that he talked about. That's all that we've heard him say during the, whatever. So anyway, I don't know. But Court TV is funny because they're like making a point to blur his 17-year-old daughter's face out, but they're showing clip after clip of her, like footage of her during the hearing. She's probably 18 now, but still like, why? It just makes me laugh. Anyway, I don't know.
He had an affair, I have to say, but
Reporting him and seeing the sheriff is something about his family. What was the status of the family? And it appears in court that they're obviously supporting him and stand behind him in all of this.
Well, some people are not going to like what I have to say, but Mickey, from what I've found out, Mickey's image was really important to him. A lot of people saw him as a family man, just salt of the earth. But I ended up finding out that he had an affair with a lady for about 7 or 8 years. And I've spoken with several other people that said that Mickey was really good about making people feel sorry for him. He could do the poor, poor, pitiful me thing really well. And I don't think he was as much of a family man as a lot of us wanted to believe.
That's interesting, people coming forward and telling you that. Obviously, Court TV, we have not independently verified any of that. But
hold up for a second, though. I like how Vinny also I'm giving Vinny a lot of shit today. I like how Vinny also says, well, Court TV has not independently verified that Mickey had an affair. Okay. But Court TV has also not independently verified any of the other shit that they have said about this case or about what's on video or what the judges did. How many court? I'm not trying to take up for the judge because he very well could have been a piece of shit. I have no idea. It's not really relevant or interesting as far as I'm concerned as it relates to like the culpability of the sheriff. Like, I don't really care what Kevin Mullins was doing, but Court TV has put out so many, and News Nation too, so many clips and specials about this case that have literally said things like judge on camera, or like it'll say like witness, and then it'll have like a colon, it'll say judge was sleeping with, like, it'll just make an outright accusation that's not based in anything but conjecture and like internet rumors. And at no point does Vinny go on to say Court TV has not independently verified that. They all suck Mickey Stein's butt. It's so friggin' annoying. I'm like so tired of them.
Yeah.
Aren't you? Like, why are we DB said something earlier. Now it's probably about time for Speak Your Piece because I'm devolving. Poor pitiful me, top cop of the county. The sheriff is the most powerful person in any county, period. Sheriff is more powerful than the judge. The sheriff can arrest a judge. A judge can't arrest a sheriff. So for everybody who's saying that been huge of Tupac, for everybody who's saying that Mickey didn't feel he had a choice, the higher ups and the judge and blah blah blah, miss me with that shit. Mickey Steins
didn't have higher ups.
Right. Mickey Steins is the higher up. I put out a video maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. I think it's called like the most powerful man in Letcher County, because people are talking about Mickey was scared of the higher ups. The higher ups he is the higher up. He is the powerful person.
Explain who. Higher up. Who's higher up? How?
There's nobody higher than Mickey Steins in the county. So you know, I just don't buy it. Now, whether he believed in his own mind, in his own, let's say he's dealing with, some paranoia or mental incapacity for whatever reason. Okay. But that also doesn't really read true to me either, because in the footage that we see of him immediately after the shooting, his behavior is not consistent. There are moments where he acts quite paranoid and disoriented, but there's also moments where he knows exactly what questions to answer and what questions not to answer and what to say and what not to say. So like, I think the fact that there's so much CCTV footage and video camera from the hours leading up to this, I think they're going to have a really hard time, whatever, independent of what the psychological assessment that the state is doing for him, independent of what it says. I just have a hard time seeing him as somebody who didn't know right from wrong and who was not in his right mind. And like, I think he had an emotional reaction, a really volatile, angry kind of, he lost control, and he did a rage killing.
Yeah. I mean, the extreme emotional disturbance is distinct from insanity, I suppose. I found the definition from the case law.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so this is from the definition of EED, which applies to assault cases as well as homicide cases. And I sent you a screenshot of this, but I figured out for assault cases, a lesser included of first degree intentional assault is assault under extreme emotional disturbance. And for a murder case, if you can prove, or if the state can't disprove whatever extreme emotional disturbance, it is reduced to manslaughter, first degree manslaughter.
Okay.
Yeah, extreme emotional disturbance is a temporary state of mind so enraged, inflamed, or disturbed as to overcome one's judgment and to cause one to act uncontrollably from the impelling force of the extreme emotional disturbance rather than from evil or malicious purposes. It is not a mental disease in itself, and an enraged, inflamed, or disturbed emotional state does not constitute an extreme emotional disturbance unless there is a reasonable explanation or excuse therefor, the reasonableness of which is to be determined from the viewpoint of a person in the defendant's situation under circumstances as the defendant believed them to be.
Why are we I guess I thought that I was sharing. Damn it. Hold on. I'm going to share this other one. So my issue with that definition is that why is rage included in it though? Because like rage and it's an extreme emotional disturbance, like rage should, I don't know. Let me pull this up because I want to.
I mean, it seems like it's just a way that they have distinguished between murder and manslaughter in Kentucky. Because this is like the definite, like you can get charged with manslaughter if you don't have any, whatever.
Like intent?
Yeah, if you just are really mad and then you kill someone. in the
Yeah, this is
moment.
kind of what I'm. Yeah,
It can
this is kind of
be
what I'm.
manslaughter.
But I feel like what Judge is saying. I mean, this is like a really like simplistic way to say it. What I'm about to say. It's almost like, well, if you're mad enough, then you'll get a lesser. You just got to be really mad, and then like we'll reward you with like a lesser charge.
Yeah.
Like,
And it's always
what?
hard for me to understand like what the difference is between I'm really mad and therefore didn't premeditate and therefore it's second degree murder versus like manslaughter.
Right. Yeah, I don't love this. I don't love this. I guess I understand why it exists, right? It exists for scenarios where somebody either is or perceives themselves to be in a position where they have no choice, right? For whatever reason, their life or their family's life or you know, an act has been committed or they believe an act has been committed that's so egregious that it warrants, you know, assault or murder. But I still feel like I don't love it. Yeah, Lindsay, yes, this is just a Kentucky thing. And I think every state has their own kind of like version, but like Kentucky specifically, if Bartley can successfully argue, if there is a trial, if Bartley can successfully argue an extreme emotional disturbance, I mean, Mickey could literally walk out, right?
I don't think so. I think it would just mean he would get charged with
a lesser.
Because it says here, so if the prosecution cannot prove that someone intentionally committed murder without the presence of EED, the defendants, if it's a double negative, if the prosecution can't prove that there was no EED, then the defendant's charge may be reduced to manslaughter in the first degree.
If they can't not.
So if it's shown that there is EED, then the defendants can be charged with can get like the lesser included of manslaughter. This is basically what happened in the Turk case. Actually, he ended up getting a lesser. He was charged with first degree murder. He ended up getting convicted of manslaughter because of whatever circumstances had been occurring with his wife and her cheating on him a lot.
Interesting.
Or something.
Okay.
And her
so you're still guilty, but so it's like you're guilty, but we find you guilty, but guilty with extreme emotional disturbance, right?
Yeah, it's guilty. Okay. You find, I think it's basically guilty of a lesser included, guilty of manslaughter instead of murder.
Due to the existence of, as the jury, and in Kentucky, what's interesting is the jury gets to decide on their own, you know, make their entirely, you know, their own determination as to whether or not there is, you know, EED exists or not. So if the jury decides that they believe that there was one, then they can, there's a lesser, they can charge him with that, or not charge him, but find him guilty of that lesser.
I'm looking at this case I took this screenshot from, which it's like part of it is that the trial court erred in not giving the lesser included instructions and an EED instruction.
Okay.
I'll send the full thing to you.
Okay. So the jury didn't know that they had, you know, they didn't understand fully the option to. Yeah, the
trial court must instruct the jury on affirmative defenses and lesser included offenses if the evidence would permit a jury to reasonably conclude that a defense exists.
Yeah. So that's definitely a possibility.
Assault under EED is a lesser offense of first degree intentional assault. So this is an assault case.
Okay. And that EED applies to either assault or murder cases, I think is what you said, right?
Yeah. And so the equivalent of there's murder is to manslaughter as intentional assault is to assault under EED.
Interesting. That's very interesting.
Yeah. It's interesting. But also I think like there is no event in that moment, as far as we can tell, that would have triggered him to be like, now I have to kill you.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm saying. It's not really giving like triggering event that would justify, I'm using that word wrong, but you know what I mean? Like, where's the triggering event? Like, nothing happened. The judge wasn't doing anything to him. He wasn't threatening him. Like, nothing was happening. So, like, what was the triggering event? You know?
I think there's a lot of circumstantial evidence, at least, of like some level of premeditation.
I agree with you. And I think that there's probably more, because every time we find something, you know, every time something comes out, like footage or whatever, it's like, it seems to get more and more suggestive of some kind of a premeditated, or at least like if the crime, it's almost like he was like planning how he was going to get away with it. I mean, it sounds insane. I think DB used the word like there's no like utility, and you're on video, right? You know, you're on video. It's still, even if you file off the serial number, it's still like the gun is still your gun. Like, there's all these things that he allegedly did that even if he was trying to get, like, they don't even make sense. They wouldn't work. So I don't know. It's just weird.
I don't know. It seems somewhat premeditated, but he was maybe like, maybe I could do this and maybe I could do that. Like, he might have had more plans, but then was just like, fuck it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I just can't stop thinking about the fact that, that he maybe possibly could have been playing around with the idea of like framing his court security officer. Like, sir, that's an awful thing to do. Like, shoot him with his gun, with the court security officer's gun after lunch, and then make it look like you're gonna leave the gun there and just like mosey out the building. Like, so things like this, I'm trying to be fair. Like, that kind of decision making to me gives like, I don't believe that his mental state was in any way so bad that he should have any kind of like a whatever, but he obviously wasn't using sound judgment. Like, he was not, the decisions he was making and the behavior he was exhibiting was unhinged and illogical in a lot of ways. So, you know, there's been talk of him not sleeping. He had been up a few nights in a row. He was under a great amount of stress. He certainly sounds and seems paranoid. Like, all of that can be true, but that does not equal, you know, a diminished capacity or insanity or extreme, you know, it just means that like,
it just means he was like tired enough to be stupid.
Exactly. And like, so like somebody with like a legitimate bipolar diagnosis, let's say they are experiencing an episode of mania, and while they're in that episode of mania, they commit a homicide. Okay, well, the court is going to charge them with homicide. The court's not interested in whether, or I mean, you know, the prosecutor is going to charge them with homicide. They're not interested whether or not they're manic or not. I mean,
yeah, you can still know right from wrong when you're manic.
Exactly. So that's kind of how I'm kind of seeing, like, when I hear that somebody's not sleeping, I think, okay, well, I wonder if they're manic or on drugs, or there's some other kind of process going on psychologically and mentally that's impacting them, but not to the extent where he didn't know right from wrong, because there's all of these little behaviors that we've seen already. Like, yeah, DB, good point. Even the way that he's answering and not answering questions after the fact, and even the way that he's behaving, and even like, no, he was absolutely of sound mind enough to know when to keep his mouth shut, what kinds of things to say, what, you know. I don't buy it. I'm not buying it.
Yeah. And it's interesting. One of the first things he says is like, how am I supposed to know what happened? It's like chaotic. Everyone's running around.
Like, are you still trying to like test drive the like trying to get out of this? Like, it's almost like he's trying to suggest, like, I don't know what happened. How am I supposed to know what happened? Like, even the officers are like, huh?
The officers are
like, what did you just say? Oh gosh. So you want to speak your piece?
Yeah, let's speak your piece.
Okay.
See, no one touched his daughter. Like,
no, nobody touched his daughter. And Marvin Johnson. So Marvin Johnson, welcome, says, I've heard the judge touched his daughter and pics were involved. So it makes sense that Marvin Johnson has heard that the judge touched Vicky's daughter, because, as I said in that video I just put out, that rumor won't die. It won't stop. And then people come in and say, you know, in good faith, by the way, I'm not saying that that's because we continue to hear that rumor, despite the fact that, yeah, exactly. A lot of people are talking about that rumor, despite the fact that every single party involved has denied it. And I saw somebody left a comment like, well, of course they're going to deny it. No one wants that stigma associated with them. Or of course they're going to deny it. Like they don't want. No, a denial is very different than no comment, right? A denial is something that you wouldn't do if it were true, because if it were true, they just wouldn't be commenting. They are outright debunking and denying and saying explicitly, this is Mickey Stein's wife and family have said, absolutely not. There's no truth to that. Judge Mullen's family has said, absolutely not. There's no truth to that. And one could argue that they're going to say that. But okay, why would Mickey's wife deny it if it were true? Especially when her husband's very possibly facing capital murder. Like there's no reason for her to deny something unless it's not true. KSP, Kentucky State Police, has since denied it, and so has Mickey's own defense attorney. So why is it persisting? And it's a horrible rumor to perpetuate, as if it's not bad enough that this this young woman is now without a father. She could be the last person that spoke to him. It's possible that something that was not her fault, that she could have had no earthly way of knowing that would be the last conversation her dad had with someone before he committed an unspeakable act that he can never undo. Like, imagine all of the shit that this poor girl is dealing with. And on top of it, you've got people all over the internet, and even people like Vinny and Ashley Banfield not stating it outright, but they sure as won't stop talking about it. This rumor, like, how dehumanizing and humiliating and traumatic, on top of the fact that your dad shot a judge the judge has one daughter who's, I think, a little bit younger than Mickey's daughter, but like they all know each other. I mean, it's awful. And I have to wonder, what is the secondary gain behind? It's almost like it's like watching football almost, I feel, for people. Like they have teams, you know, that they're on team Mickey or team Mullins, and it's like, I get it, we do that with every case, but like it's weird in this case. You're defending an indefensible loser, in my opinion. Like, stop it. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I mean, people just don't want to believe like that this guy is a shithead.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why? Like, all evidence points to he's a shithead. I suppose it's like, you know, at the whole internet, not a lot of people, it seems, who have dug into this case are like doing it from like a deep legal kind of analysis. Like, none of the law tubers who really go into the filings, like what the original hearings and like the original filings, I know both Peter Tragos and Melanie Little read and went over, but like no one's gone deep into like the civil suits and like read all this stuff. And like if you read all of this evidence that does exist from the civil suits, like it's pretty clear that Mickey is like not, you know, his hands aren't clean in this county.
Right. Oh yeah, even before the shooting, you mean?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like, he's already like all up in the corruption, and so he wasn't doing it because he saw the judge like was doing bad stuff and he's like, I need to put a stop to it. Like, no,
because why wouldn't he kill Ben Fields then? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly. And in fact, like the only evidence that the judge might have had anything to do with it is the fact that it was happening in his chambers. Like, I haven't seen anything else. And the fact that like he's maybe on video doing something. But then I'm like, okay, but why was all of that on video in the first place? Like, was there like a hidden camera or something? Because like if anybody, not that anyone should be, but like if anybody should be having sex in Judge Mullen's office, it's probably him.
It's probably the judge. Yeah, and by the way, maybe Judge Mullins there's no accusations that Judge Mullins, so what we're referencing is Sabrina Atkins in her proffer, right? She's on, it's a recorded statement she made, I think for the criminal investigation, I want to say. She made it to the AG's office while they were investigating. So so her lawyer's there with her, but she makes a recorded statement. It's an interview. And she's that is when she says that she saw a video of Judge Mullins and a girl in his office having sex. She didn't know who the girl was, but she believes that it was Judge Mullins. And we don't know what came of that. Nobody has seen the video. And by the way, I believe Sabrina is a credible victim and witness. I also just think that sometimes we get information wrong, or maybe it was investigated and maybe the judge was having sex with somebody in his office, but that doesn't mean that it was a defendant or someone on probation. Like, maybe the judge was having sex with his girlfriend or his wife or his mistress in his office. Like, I'm not excusing or condoning shady behavior, but like, having sex in itself.
Yeah, like it's not evidence.
I
that
need more
he was
information.
part of it.
Right. Like
I
that.
don't know, it
itself
seems
doesn't
like there's a
mean-
culture of having sex in this courthouse. So like,
Ew, yeah. In the bathroom, in the parking lot, in the Sally Port, in the chamber, like, whoa, yuck.
yeah, and I'm like, why? I
Judgy.
want to know why this is all on video and why Chad Brown has on the VHS tape.
Yeah. Why does Chad have all of the VHS tapes?
Why are they on VHS?
Why?
tapes?
Candy, this is true. She says that she does. So Sabrina does say, and we have what I'll do after is I always say I'm gonna do this and I forget. I'll put the public folder we have up so everyone can, y'all can read verbatim. But Sabrina does say that I seen a video of the judge and a girl, and whoever's interviewing her says what judge, and she says Judge
Matt
Mullins.
Easter.
What?
Matt Easter, I think, is the name of the agent.
Matt Easter was you're right. He was. Yep. It was Matt Easter. So he's like, what judge? And she's like, Judge Mullins. So Sabrina believes that who she saw on video was Judge Mullins. I have no reason to. The only reason that I have to question the accuracy of that account is because nothing happened, right? So like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just have a hard time believing. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it was an AG's office investigation into the stuff. So wouldn't they investigate?
Right.
Though
Maybe they
I would
did.
like to know more about what the AG's office found in their investigation.
Me too. Although I will say that there is mention in one of the depositions, I think, that that one of the AG's office investigators interviewed a witness in the sheriff's office with the sheriff there. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't know. I think that a lot of times investigations are just suck in general.
Yeah,
you
it
would
doesn't seem
hope.
like it. It
Yeah,
doesn't
you
seem
would
like
hope.
great. I mean, they did enough to charge Ben Fields.
VHS type, remember Super 8 camcorders, little tapes. Okay. So we're talking like a handheld, like we got a sex tape ring going on, like a handheld. So remember Sabrina said that she saw it, but then they did end up talking to Chad. Somebody found Chad, and Chad said, no, they're not videos, they're cassette tapes. So like,
Yeah, at some point, someone found Chad,
yeah.
but I don't remember. I have to look at the stuff again.
Yes, you're right, Rhonda. And again, I'll just say again, I find Sabrina to be credible and believable, and I in no way think that she said anything that wasn't true, or at the very least that, like, I believe that she either saw Judge Mullins or she truly believes that she saw Judge Mullins. Or she saw Judge Mullins having sex with somebody. But again, there's a lot more information. I feel like I need to even give a shit about that. Now, given what Ben Fields was doing in Judge Mullins' chambers, I understand the relevance and the importance of like getting clarity about it. But here's my question, because I find that we, the public, are getting lost in the quagmire of the many layered issues of and corruption stuff. Like, is it relevant or not whether Judge Mullins was involved in the sextortion scandal? Is it relevant to Mickey Stein's criminal case, the homicide charge? I don't think it is.
I don't think it's relevant to that. I think it's relevant to my interest in the civil case and the whole sextortion thing. And it's like we don't have evidence that Mickey was doing a sextortion. It was just something that Sabrina said.
Yeah.
She had heard, and that Sabrina said Chad had video of him, but she hadn't seen it herself. But I take that fairly seriously because it just makes too much sense.
Right, because Ben was doing it, and Mickey trained Ben, and there seems to be a culture of this kind of like...
It would make too much sense for him to have passed it along to Ben when he trained him.
He passed everything else along to Ben, and he also co-responded to Jennifer Hill's home on at least one occasion with Ben Fields. So to say that Mickey Steins was completely unaware of and oblivious to the relationship or relationships, the coercive relationships that his deputy and bailiff was having, it's not believable. And on top of that, multiple people have said in sworn affidavits that they reported Ben Fields to the sheriff's, Mickey Steins, and his
office.
Yes.
Yeah, and also someone.
Yeah,
Mickey said, "Oh, if someone were to come to the office to report something, I would have them talk to me."
That was an actual policy that either he started or he adopted or he inherited, but that was an actual policy that they believed was the enforceable policy. If you have any complaint against an officer, the only way to file a complaint for it to be
because you have to
accepted is you have to directly speak to the sheriff about it. Huh? That's crazy.
Yeah. And
it's insane.
Our boy Chris Triplett.
Yes, Chris Triplett.
Chris Triplett.
Who's Chris?
Chris Triplett was Jennifer Hill's fiance. And he went on December 15th, 2021, I want to say, went to the sheriff's office and reported that Ben Fields had been sextorting his fiance to be like, can you please make him stop that?
Yeah, please
and
stop.
Then there's no record of that report. And I mean, literally within 24 hours of that, he was pulled over 3 times by various sheriff's deputies for various stupid things, such as not being able to properly read his license plate because of a cover on it or something, and various other bullshit. And also, one of those times, didn't he say that the sheriffs made him get out and strip
down to his skivvies, his
and
underpants
on the ground?
They led him out to basically some kind of secluded area, had him stripped down to his underwear, and made him get either on the ground or detained him somehow. And this is the same day, right? Or the night that
it's the next day, or the same, it was within a day of him
trying to report. Right. So there you have it, ladies and gents. This is Mickey Stein's Sheriff's Department. So to me, it's kind of inconsequential whether Mickey knew what Ben was doing or not. They're both bad. They both say Mickey Steins is responsible, period, for it.
Yeah. And it all seems like it's coming out of the sheriff's office. There's no, it doesn't seem like this. It doesn't seem like the Commonwealth prosecutors also are great.
No.
One of the people in the smoking room with Angie Fields was the Commonwealth prosecutor. What's his name? I know his name. Matt Butler. Commonwealth attorney Matt Butler was in the smoking room with Angie Fields on that day.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like they're great either, but there's no information that like the judges of this courthouse were a part of this.
No.
Like maybe they were, but like
Well, here's where I think the
if Mickey was more connected to this whole situation.
Former Letcher County Sheriff's Deputy Ben Fields was sentenced to 7 years in prison. Hyde County Circuit Court Judge Eddie Coleman. So was that before? So I know that he only served 6 months in the Letcher County Jail. I don't know what his original, like maybe I don't know.
Yeah, because he got like 6 months. Or no, I think he
was sentenced to more, and he
was
served
sentenced
6
to more, and then he was maybe supposed to do like 18 months or something actually in prison. And then there was like a suspended sentence for the rest, but then he only did 6.
He didn't even go to a state facility at any point. He never stepped
went
foot
to
in
jail.
prison. He went to his place of work. He went to his office, basically. So I think part of the reason suspended sentence. I think part of the reason that we're seeing he just went to the basement, 6 months and out. See you later. Thank you, by the way, for everyone in here who's providing some really helpful info and context. I think part of the reason that we're seeing everybody kind of like, oh, the court, there was sextortion happening in that courthouse. That courthouse was corrupt. That courthouse, yes, true. There was but do people realize that the courthouse is the same building as the jail, and that the jail is literally an entity of the sheriff's department? Like, do people know that the sheriff of Letcher County, the jail is part of his turf, and that the sheriff's department is about 20, the entrance to the sheriff's department is about 20 feet from the courthouse, and that the bailiff, this was something I saw a couple people actually comment in Elizabeth's live last night or the night before. I think DB was in there with me. A couple people said, Judge Mullins should have been named in that civil lawsuit because it was his chambers and he should have known and he would have known. The reason that Judge Mullins is not named and is irrelevant in the civil lawsuit, even though it was occurring in his chambers, is because legally speaking, it doesn't matter what someone, whether or not, if you think Judge Mullins should have or was involved or whatever, should have known, could have prevented it. There's no way that he could be charged or named in the civil lawsuit because he didn't have any legal duty in that case. He was not responsible legally for what his bailiff was doing because the bailiff works for the sheriff. Everyone calls it, well, he was Judge Mullins' bailiff. Yes. And he's employed and supervised by the sheriff's department. So this is kind of what we're seeing with like just the incestuous, conflict-riddled nature of small counties and small towns. Letcher's not, is no different. Everyone and everything are all connected and all related and all conflicted. But legally speaking, the responsibility and the duty and the obligation and the liability or the the sheriff is the legal supervisor of the bailiff and his deputies, and that includes Ben Fields, period. So like remember that picture? Didn't I have a picture of what did I do? Sorry, hold on. Joji got me off on it. Oh my god. Where is this picture? Here it is. We're going to just really quick before we speak our piece, we're just going to take a minute because this warrants our full attention. This is my picture of her. There's Ben. He's taking care of the beat. I mean, that's a cool activity. This might be the only thing I've ever seen or learned about Ben Fields that I don't have a visceral hatred for, actually. So good on Ben Fields for taking care of the bee. Why do I have this picture? See you later says Ned Pillersdorf said in an early interview the judge may have been a witness. I believe that. Yeah, I could totally see that. Because the judge, didn't we hear that the judge, I guess we can take this down now. Didn't we also hear that the judge, like the reason there's cameras in the judge's chambers, which, you know, Vinny's mind is blown that there's a camera in the judge's chamber. But it's there because after Ben Fields' crimes came to light, the judge
put a camera in there.
The judge had a camera installed in his chambers. Now, whether that was to look, you know, to make it look like he didn't know, to cover his ass, irrelevant, who knows? But that camera did not exist until after Ben Fields', you know, case and crimes came to light. And Mullins himself had, whether he got up there, I'm not saying he like got up on a ladder and did it himself, but I'm saying like he had the camera installed. This is the other thing. Does anybody really think that a judge is going to be told that he has to do anything?
In his chambers?
Like, right. No. If there's a camera in his chambers, it's because he wanted it there and he had it put there. Like, you're not going to, I don't even think that.
Yeah. You can't make a judge do shit.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
judges don't have bosses.
Right. Exactly. Like, the judge decides what goes on, and there's never, ever going to be a scenario in which. Here we go. This is exactly it. According to the administrative office of the clerks, the cameras were installed after a federal lawsuit against someone else in 2022. And that would be our beekeeping friend, Ben Fields. At the request of the judges, circuit court clerk, and sheriff. And sheriff. Interesting. Okay. Well, that's the administrative office of the courts. Well, there you go. So they were installed afterwards. So I don't remember what I was saying, but that's interesting to me that there seems to be video of these sextortion crimes occurring that are not video from.
No, it's not CCTV video. It's separate video.
It's like a handheld homemade sex tape or something.
It's weird,
right?
Yeah. How did Chad get the video?
I don't know.
Where's Chad? I guess he's maybe in jail or something.
You'd think he would. Well. Is he in jail?
I think
sucks. They got him.
What I remember, he was.
Didn't we read that they were like? They were shooting out the window. They were. Sabrina just like. I love it. Her delivery is amazing. I bet she's just like totally unfit. She's like, yeah, they were shooting out the windows of their trucks. And Chad as he's like making a high-speed escape. Poor Chad. We were all very concerned. We were all really concerned about Chad. We were happy to learn that he had been located and spoken to. We were like, has anybody seen
Is Chad good?
Is Chad, are you good? Whew. Yes, you did not miss it. Let's do a speaker piece, shall we? Gray Space, while I'm pulling this up. Would you mind giving a brief intro as to Speak Your Piece and what it is for those who might not be familiar?
Yes. So in Letcher County, Kentucky, we have the lovely local newspaper, the Mountain Eagle, the Wattsburg newspaper, and interesting.
8 years, Chad. Damn. Pour one out for Chad. That sucks.
I hope they got those tapes. Maybe.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
Well, anyway, they're in Mountain Eagle. There's a section, a column called "Speak Your Piece," and anybody can submit their grievances to Speak Your Piece via email or phone call.
Yes.
And then they are published.
They are published.
Yeah. So
in the newspaper, and they're completely anonymous.
Completely anonymous. You can say truly anything, pretty much.
You really can. So without further ado, I meant to upload this.
All right. Some guy filled up the entire answering machine once.
Yes, remember he started naming every country on the planet. He was like literally naming. We were like, we found the guy who filled up the. We found the guy responsible. Okay. Without further ado, I'm gonna play our speaker piece intro because we have one. We have one now. I think if I can get it to. Here it is. I didn't upload it, so we're gonna watch it on my. Here we go. That sounds sped up, right? Or no, it's not sped up. My brain is sped up, I think is the problem. All right. Dun da da. Oh wait, I think I'm gonna mood lighting.
Mood lighting.
Mood lighting. We're about to get real unhinged in here. So, speak your piece. Let's just go. I'm just going to do a roulette. I'm just going to pick one. So, let's go with, what is this, June? Because it's been like, I want to say months since we've done a speak your piece proper. So, we've got a bunch.
Yeah. It's been a hot minute since we have spoken our piece. So,
we've got a lot of piece to speak to. So let's
multiple
start with
pieces.
In addition to phone and US mail, snail mail. They accept a snail mail. All right. Would you like to read some, Gray?
Sure.
Excellent. Start us off. We'll go back.
This is concerning the Letcher Fire and Rescue. It's been a crooked place for over 40 years, but at least the crooks earlier weren't as greedy as those who came along later. The reason it is now shut down is because they have no money left and everything is mortgaged. The only way they're going to do anything with these fire departments and ambulance services in Letcher County is to put them all under one umbrella and let the county government control them. But the county will have to raise taxes to get enough funds to keep them going. The only way that crookedness will end is for the county to assume all operations. Thank you.
Did the county write that?
Like, why isn't that like normal? Isn't that how that normally works, is to put them all under one thing and have the county operate it?
I think Judgy's right. Didn't we see something? I think I sent something like EMS or something is like completely defunded or out of money. They can't even respond to calls or something.
Yeah, you said they don't have like a fire department anymore.
That's it, which is, yeah, I'd say in a county like this where people seem to do a lot of threats unto each other, I would think that they should probably have a working operating fire department. But anyway, I agree with the person. Oh wait, I have to hold this. I agree with the person.
Now. Oh, is that why? Is that why the firefighters in the courthouse were from Neon?
Oh, because they don't have their own. They can't pay their own.
Because Elizabeth was like, why are there Neon County Fire Department in this courthouse when a shooting just happened? And I was like, I don't know, you need fire department for that kind of thing. But is that why they were from Neon?
Yeah, because maybe they can't use their own anymore. They have to contract. So this maybe, the state maybe providing, I don't know. They should probably get that sorted, huh? It's closed now. Interesting. The fire department is just closed. That's like so ominous. That's so ominous. I don't love that. We got to get EMS and fire back up and running. I agree with the person upset about the large junkyard and Payne Gap of old bulldozers and other rusted mining equipment. Are we the only ones that think this is a disgrace to Jenkins? Now, a lot of people write in about Jenkins, and Jenkins must be like a little like a sub community, right? Like a district or division of Letcher.
Some sort of village or hamlet or
a little hamlet or something. And I think we've got, I'm gonna guess we have some locals or at least some local adjacent people in here just from some of the very astute, insightful comments I've seen. So give us a little intro to Jenkins if you're in here. It's the first thing you see after coming down the mountain. And is this the first impression we want visitors of Letcher County to see? Why can't a nice fence and/or Leyland cypress tree
Leyland Cypress. This must be this man obviously owns a Leyland Cypress tree farm. Clearly. Trees be planted to block the view. According to Kentucky laws, junkyards generally must have screening requirements to prevent them from being visible from public roads. This can be accomplished with fences, vegetation, or natural topography. Fences must not be unsightly, or some regulations specify they should be between 8 and 12 feet high. Screening methods may require approval from the Planning Commission. Inventing, you think they chat GPT'd this or no? Actually, I think this is just in their own brain. I'm gonna guess. Must be uniform and well maintained. Gates should match the fence and be kept closed and locked when not in use. Fencing may also need to be set back from property lines or public easements. But like, there are no fences yet. By the way, he's already giving us like our fence regulations and guidelines, and like, but there's no fence to speak of because we're looking at the ugly junkyard. So.
Yeah.
He's a dreamer. He's dreaming.
Well, he was like, well, might as well get the fence right the first time.
Right. He's like, by the way, let me just read out these HOA bylaws about it. So thank you, Mr. Tree Farmer. All right, it's all you.
I see a lot of activity at a certain house on Smoot Creek. Wonder what's going on there. I just about guarantee you it isn't any good.
I wonder what's going on there, too. It surprises me how many people get caught drunk driving in this county, only to turn them right back out. True. Good point. Only to turn them right back out on the street without charging them with anything. These drunks need to be locked up in jail where they belong. Oh my God.
Well, the brother and sister taking advantage of the elderly ladies are still at it. They are doing all these good deeds just to get their property. A lot of people are talking about it. Wonder if these ladies' family members know what's going on.
Well, Talby Branch has made the paper. People are just so nosy. What does it matter what's on their property? They pay their property taxes and can do what they want. Does anybody tell you what to do with your property? No. Well, actually, the only one who tells me what to do with my property is the Leyland Cypress tree farmer. But aside from that, no. If you don't like it, leave.
Oh my God. No, not the coal miner's wife again.
Oh no. This poor coal miner.
I think it's about time someone tells Mr. Coal Miner's wife what he's doing in Letcher County and Pike County while she stays home pitifully waiting on him. He is so disgusting and she doesn't see it.
Leave her alone. Maybe she don't want to see it. Leave her alone. Why are you dunking on her and saying she's pitifully waiting on him? Like the poor wife catching strays. This is like the third time we've seen somebody write in just incensed about the coal.
You can't get a job at the coal mine unless you let the coal miner sleep with your wife.
Jenkins was a cool boomtown. Shotgun row houses, home of the famous house parties with bowls of nose candy. Home of the judge. Right, the judge's funeral was in Jenkins, I remember reading that. Isn't the nose candy methamphetamines? Judge, I think the latter, but you could probably, I mean, when there's a will, there's a way. You could probably make it, you know what I mean? I mean, it could probably be both or either, but I think generally speaking, it's this one. Mr. Coal Miner gets around. If somebody gets sick or injured in a bad wreck down here in the lower end of the county, where's the ambulance? Yeah, there's no way Neon can cover this end of the county. We all know the Neon people work to get Letcher Fire and Rescue shut down so the Neon service would get all the money. Oh my God, that's a lot. That's quite a conspiracy. Not saying it's not true, but that's Neon just wants to shut down their neighboring EMS.
Like Neon wouldn't want their fire and EMS stretched so thin for their own sake.
Right, they'd want them in neon.
Yeah.
Responding to calls. Why would they want more work? I mean, it's not like do you get paid per service call, or maybe they get paid to contract? But if they can pay Neon, who's paying Neon if they can't even pay their own EMS? I got a lot of questions. We need to do a little more research, I think, into this issue.
We'll get back to y'all about this.
Yes, we'll check back in a month or so after we look into this here Neon conspiracy a little bit.
It's sad when you pull into a self-service station and there's nothing available to clean your windshield with. It's sad when the water is always dirty and there are no paper towels to do the job with. These places should do better.
I love this because, like, You could also just write this to the service
No.
station. No, not an option. Instead of just putting it in the speaker piece and hoping that somebody
no.
from this
Maybe they CC'd the service station.
maybe on their email that they sent in, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, I love when they start with well. It looks like our neighbors here off Route 7 from Isom headed toward Colson are the ones who like to sell the meth, sell the heroin, and bring in the cocaine.
Oh, so they're selling the meth and the heroin, and they're bringing
in the cocaine, right? Yeah, we call that the old hat trick. all three big ones, I guess. Meth, heroin, and bringing in the cocaine.
I was just wondering how Letcher Fire and Rescue has failed again under 2 different directors. Please try to find out what the problem is. Thank you. I guess we're gonna have to figure that out.
Yeah, that feels like a really fair. That feels like a really fair ask. Like, hey, well,
right, adding that to our to-do list for Letcher County.
Yeah, Postpunk. They run an import-export business. They're pushing out the H and the meth, but they're bringing in cocaine. Whew, okay, I'm replying to the person complaining about the old road going towards Lake. Fish Pond Lake. I love Fish Pond. Oh. Okay, I'm replying to the person complaining about the old road going toward Fish Pond Lake. Why does that make us laugh so much? They seem to know all about how to fix that road.
Oh, we got Fish Pond Lake and a broken road.
Oh, I know. They seem to know all about how to fix that road. But if they're so educated, they ought to know it's got nothing to do with the county or judge executive, the magistrates, or the county road. There's a county road foreman. They should call the state highway department or their fine governor because it's a state road. Is it Kentucky 3400? Oh, it is Kentucky 3400, not a county road. Thank you very much. Okay,
all
we
right,
got all of them.
Call Andy Bashir.
Yes, I would like to complain about the road by Fish Pond Lake. Thank you very much.
I would like to know when the state is going to fix Highway 931 South, which is the road up Big Cohen. This road is absolutely terrible and is broken off in many places. I think the state needs to fix this road before anyone worries about fixing the road to Fish Pond Lake. Oh, this is the same guy. Even the portion of 931 and Kentucky 15 going into the city of Wattsburg has been terrible for at least 7 years. Please call the state road department and ask them to fix the road on Cohen. Thank you very much.
Do you know? Okay, this might be like a really like niche kind of like. This might not land, but you know what plays in my head when I read "Speak Your Piece." Has anyone in here ever seen like the Chicago the musical? You know the song that's like oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. You know
that song was on TikTok for a hot minute. So yeah,
on TikTok it was okay. Like they both reach forward the gun. It's like, but I feel like I just picture them all just like fucking shooting at each other in this column. Hi, Pyre. I always want to call him Pyro, even though it's not Pyro, it's Pyre.
Yeah.
Sir.
Well, I was thinking about. Well, I made you play it last time. The I walk a broken road on the boulevard. Broken roads.
I walk a. Oh my god! I forgot about that one.
It broke, but it's only me and I
broke the road.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to add that to our speaker piece intro because it's definitely deserves it. Oh, do you have local oil producers dumping brine water into your waterways? That sounds really serious. The roads do, in all seriousness, we laugh about the roads being bonked, but in all seriousness, it certainly seems like the roads are a problem. We got bridges washing out.
That everyone's writing into speaker piece about it.
I know. Gosh. Whew, okay. Wait, by the way, did you see what See You Later said? I know somebody who pulled up an arm at Fish Pond. Jack needs to go cut the bait and run. That's wild. Fish Pond Lake is exceeding our expectations. Oh gosh. All right. The people of Lower Letcher County have been robbed of their ambulance service. No lies were told.
I told my family the summer was going to be hot. Now look what's happening with all the riots. I went through the riot in Detroit in 1967. It was nothing like this. The military told you to get off the street, and you got off the street. I doubt
Is
it.
that true? I don't think that's true, actually. I feel like the OG rioters in Detroit in 67 were probably not just getting off the street. Like, let's be real.
If I was rioting and the military told me to get off the street, I would say, fuck you.
Right, exactly. I would do an Antifa unto them. I'd say I would be like, there seems to be a little bit of confusion as to what a riot is. So let me explain a riot.
Like, actually, this was a peaceful protest, and you're the one throwing tear gas at us. So, oh no,
maybe you're just a tribal. Maybe. Oh my gosh, maybe. Ooh, they'd never get off the street. Alligator snappers. Hey, some guy with cancer. Good to see you. It's so nice. You know, we should do this more often. It's so nice to see all our friends again. All right. People. I like when they start with well and when they start with people. Did you see all those delinquent taxpayers listed in the Mountain Eagle?
Oh, they put in
millions. They do a public shaming. Mm-hmm. They do a public shaming. It's probably, I was going to say it's effective, but apparently not, because did you see all of the delinquents in the paper? Probably millions of dollars in property taxes uncollected. It just goes to show how our politicians have not been doing their jobs for many years. It's not right for the working. You what?
I bet the politicians aren't paying their taxes either.
I'm sure that's true. It's not right for the working class of people to have to put up with stuff like this. Oh,
oh good. WIFX radio, you suck. You used to have somewhat of a radio station, but now you just want to play crying music.
What is crying music?
I've turned the dial, won't go back, rather hear static. Everything else that comes out of Letcher County sucks too. Oh dear.
That's so good. Oh my god. You know, that reminds me of the one that like put me in the ground and like absolutely ended the live stream because I died, was when they were like, if anybody wants to know what's wrong with Letcher County, just pick up a Speak Your Piece and you'll have your answer. It's like everything that he's like, and while we're on the subject, everything else that comes out of Letcher County sucks too.
Yeah, everything else.
Ooh. Okay, mine's good. Ready? I hate Millstone Church.
Damn,
short and
right.
sweet.
How can a whole family, men and women, be pedophiles? Every single one of them. These people around here are disgusting.
That's a lot of people. I live in another state and get the Mountain Eagle 2 weeks late, but I would like to comment on an item in the May 28th issue in which someone had a major complaint about Governor Andy Beshear. Do you live in another state? I'm questioning. First, I thank the person who responded in a very appropriate manner with facts. I'm a native of Letcher County, and I follow the governor on Facebook, and I agree that he is the most responsive governor of Kentucky that has ever visited the eastern Kentucky mountains the way he has. Not only that, but he also seems to be all over the state, seeing to matters that affect Kentucky families. I live 35 miles from my state capital, and I haven't seen our governor more than once in a long time. I realize that the concern about the Red Star Bridge that was mentioned is probably a major inconvenience, and it makes me sad that people must endure it. But I feel certain that your governor is doing all he can to remedy that inconvenience. But with the homes destroyed all over the mountain communities, I'm sure it takes precedent to get folks sheltered again. He seems to have done a great deal to address that problem per the stories in the Mountain Eagle alone. Be patient, please, and give Governor Beshear the credit he deserves. Okay.
All right. Someone likes Andy Beshear. He seems all right. I don't know.
I don't have any qualms. to be fair, I don't really have the energy to have a whole lot of qualms about much of anything at the moment. But like, I don't have any. I mean, he seems fine. Are we ever gonna like a governor? You know, are we ever gonna like a? I don't know. How's Punk?
I don't mind Josh Shapiro. He's the governor of my state.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly, I really like that the time that the 95 in Philly broke really badly. There was and they were like, "This is going to take 6 months to fix." He was like, "Fuck that," and got on it, and it was fixed in 12 days.
He was like, "Yeah, no, we're not." Well, and then that just goes to show, like, if they really want to make something happen, they'll make it.
Yeah, I was like, wow, if people really cared, you can really make things happen. And I was really like, well, I do appreciate that Governor Shapiro cared in that instance and made a thing happen. Mm-hmm. And you know, that's my main impression. Let's see. I would like to speak my piece about a certain restaurant. We had a delivery of pizzas a couple days ago and added some pasta to the delivery order. My only complaint is this: God, I miss Pizza Hut. Damn, that's stone cold.
I miss Pizza Hut.
What would you do about the weekend?
Your governor. The governor.
He probably did less than Eric Adams.
Dude. What a fucking clown. He sucks. I have a funny video.
Yeah.
Looking out. I don't know if I've showed it. I might have showed it before. It's a funny video that I took looking out from my family member lives like right by the entrance to like the Brooklyn Bridge. So it's like, anyway, so it's like a pretty big road, but every Thursday, protesters go up and down the street every single Thursday. I have to just find it and play it, but they have a really catchy chant about Eric Adams that I'll later. Who, if Donald Trump had as much as an 8th grade education from any school in Letcher County, Kentucky, he would be a much more eloquent speaker. His parents must have bought him some sort of college degree from Podunk College, or maybe he took a correspondence course to learn how to be a fraudster and get 7 million biased voters to support him. If there's a course that I can take that will get me 70 million supporters, I will take it too. Oh boy. Oh wait, I forgot to do our disclaimer. The views expressed in the Mountain Eagle, speak your piece, in no way represent the views held by R&M Productions or the guests of R&M Productions or R&M Productions chatters in any way, shape, or form. Thank you very much. Okay. We can skip or read. Up to you.
Yeah. Let's see. We got a lot of Donald Trump.
What did he do? He must have done something around the time of June 18th to get. Sometimes I feel like we get like a couple like.
Oh, that was around the No Kings. Like that was around his birthday and like the No Kings Day stuff.
There you go.
And,
here you go.
June 18th was the day Karen Reed was freed.
You're right.
to Commonwealth Attorney Matt Butler and Circuit Judge Jimmy Kraft, I've got news for you too. Nobody thinks you guys are doing a great job.
Damn. Jeez. They're like, hey, I not to ruin your day or anything, but everybody thinks you suck. Oh. Not the rapture again.
Always with the rapture.
Judgy's in here. You're gonna get raptured, Judgy. Proverbs 10:30. The righteous shall never be removed. In other words, the church shall never be raptured. Thank you. Ooh, one more. Can we switch?
On Sunday, you people were out worshiping the day Constantine said was holy. God didn't say it was holy. He said the last day of the week was holy, not the first day of the week. You are good people, but you are stupid. Do a little research. God didn't intend for it to be this way, but you got it this way, and you settle for it. Putting Sunday at the beginning of the week is like an American convention.
Wait, I'm trying to. Oh no, it's blocking. It says I'm doing a spam. Hold on. Can you read that again for us? I want you to read that entry again.
On Sunday, you people were out worshiping the day Constantine said was holy. God didn't say it was holy. He said the last day of the week was holy, not the first day of the week. You are good people, but you are stupid. Do a little research. God didn't intend for it to be this way, but you got it this way and you settle for it.
This guy's like, team hashtag make Saturday Sabbath again. He's like, Sunday? You fucking idiots. You can't do anything right.
But like putting Sunday at the beginning of the week on a calendar is like an American convention, I think, at least in part.
Oh, does it usually start with
I'm not sure actually about that one. I don't know.
You big dummies.
I know Google Calendars lets me choose whether I want to put Sunday or Monday as the first day of the week.
Hey, Snarky Sass Angel. Snarky Sass Angel asks a very excellent question. So, did the sheriff shoot the judge? I think so. I think he did.
Yeah, I think
that's why it makes me laugh. It makes me laugh when people are like, I mean, it doesn't make me laugh. I am pro innocent until proven guilty, but it makes me laugh when Vinny will say something like, the sheriff who allegedly murdered, he allegedly murdered, and I'm like, he didn't
allegedly shot, and it's like, no, he shot him.
No, he shot him. Maybe he allegedly murdered him because he's not been convicted of murder yet, by definition.
The shooting is undisputable, in fact.
Correct. Yeah. No, it's also kind of interesting. Like, imagine if this case went unsolved for 8 years, we would have people saying that the CCTV video of the shooting was fake. Yeah, it'd be like they were never in the chambers, but we'd have like an eye of Letcher County doing videos about like AI, pointing out all the AI details of the video. Anyway, is there anything else that we want to add to our first Letcher County Live in a long time?
I don't know.
Spiritual warfare. When we were watching the premiere for I did like a premiere for the video. I think it was the one where like I put all the footage together, like the long one. And always was in the chat doing phonetic spellings of what Sheriff Steins was saying. Like, hey, spiritual warfare.
Hey, Jason.
Was killing. Hey, Jason. I think that was it. TB was like, how many syllables can this guy fit into Bates?
I bites.
Oh God, Bites. I have the perfect accent to read these. We'll have to. Well, we should do like guest speaker piece readers. I think we should get some cranks up here to read it for us. Ooh, I couldn't understand a word the cop said. Bites is 3 syllables. Oh man. Okay. So that was it. Tell Clayton. That's the one that killed me. She was like, I bite. Tell Clayton. Ooh, okay. Gray Space, thank you so much. Gray Space and Judgy are the R&M Letcher County OG Dream Team. So anytime we get to see you and or Judgy, it's a good day. So thank you. We'll do it again soon. Shit. Shit is 3 syllables.
Oh, it's always a pleasure.
Always a
to
pleasure.
be here on R&M Production.
If y'all don't follow Gray Space on the platform formerly known as Twitter, please do so now. I will link it right now. I was going to say the last one to link it is a rotten egg, but then I couldn't find the link. Everyone go follow Gray Space on X. And we will do another Letcher County soon.
Yeah, maybe
you don't
we'll
have to
fire department.
We're gonna look up the Neon. We're gonna look up and get to the bottom of whether Neon did a sabotage onto Letcher County to steal all of their
fire
and EMS calls. Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. Lots of shady money dealings with fire departments. It's not like a popular take to like have beef with the fire department because they're like heroes. But I will tell you, growing up in like where I grew up in New York State, like it was just kind of like a well-known fact that like the fire department were all crooks. So like I just like have carried that bias with me throughout my entire life. And I remember one time I was like out somewhere here in North, like where I live now, not in New York, and I made a comment like something along the lines of like, well, everybody knows. Sorry, hold on, this is gonna be problematic. I no longer hold this belief, but I was like, well, everybody knows that the fire department is like, steals money all the time. And everyone at the table just kind of looked at me. They're like, the fire? They're like, what? What are you talking about? Anyway, don't cancel me for hating the fire department. Imagine if after all this time, that's what I get canceled for. Having a fire department. Neon doing what? Neon doing what? Trash collar crime. Okay, now I'm really going to go. I'm going to go eat something. Thank you, Gray Space. I love you. Goodbye, Gray Space. Goodbye, Pyre. Goodbye, Cranks and Fam. It was so good to see you all again, and we will do it again.
You
really
all out on the internets.
We will see you on the internets. Okay. Ta-ta.